Welcome to Africa Unveiled, and you love the legendary tales.
The architect of power, Princess Mkabayi kaJama. History remembers the kings. It exalts the conquerors. But behind every legendary throne, there is an architect, a figure of relentless strategy, whose power is wielded not by the spear, but by the whisper. This is the story of Princess Mkabayi kaJama, circa 1750 to 1843, the shadow sovereign of the Zulu Kingdom. She was the sister of King Jama, the aunt of the mighty Emperor Shaka, and the uncontested Queenmaker who defined the continuity of the royal lineage across 4 successive reigns. Her life is a paradox, a woman who dedicated 9 decades to preserving the state, yet whose legacy is stained with the blood of her own family. She was feared, respected, and remembered as both protector and destroyer. This is how Mkabayi, the indomitable princess, built the Zulu nation. The political career of Mkabayi began under the shadow of a curse. Born a twin around 1750, she and her sister, Moma, were anomalies in Zulu society. Custom dictated that twins were harbingers of misfortune, demanding that one infant be sacrificed to avert the wrath of the ancestors. Yet, in a dramatic defiance of tradition, Contre Bonos Mores, her father, King Jama Konoba, spared both their lives.
We cannot allow this!
This decision came at an immense cost. When the Queen Mother died without producing a male heir, Mkabayi, strong-willed and stubborn, became the lightning rod for public resentment. She was branded a source of misfortune, held responsible for every crisis that befell the royal house. This existential burden became her political catalyst. To survive and justify her father's act of compassion, Mkabayi forged a singular motivation: aggressive atonement. She would dedicate her life to proving her worth to the very people who had rejected her. The first act of statecraft. As King Jama aged without a legitimate male successor, the crisis intensified. A potential usurper emerged, Prince Ojiisa, born to a donor woman whom Jama had married while she was already pregnant. His questionable paternity muddied the lines of succession and threatened chaos. In 1777, Mkabayi bypassed her ailing father entirely. She secretly courted Mthaniya Kosibiya, a maiden from the appropriate Sibiya clan, to become the new queen. From this strategic union, Prince Senzangakona was born. Jama acknowledged his daughter's decisive role by naming the child Senzangakona, meaning, "we have done accordingly," or well-doer. Mkabayi had secured the lineage and was hailed as a national hero. But her pragmatism demanded a clear path forward. Mkabayi orchestrated the assassination of Prince Ojiisa. With the potential rival eliminated, the succession was secured for her chosen heir. This was her first, brutal lesson in statecraft: the individual must be sacrificed for the integrity of the state. The unprecedented regency and the woman of Guile. Upon Jomo's death in 1781, Mkabayi delivered her second shot, recognizing that Senzangakona was still a minor.
This land requires a ruler of strength.
She declared herself the regent leader, seizing the reins of power, a move unprecedented in Zulu traditions and customs for a woman. She ruled with an autocratic hand, establishing her power through military might and unwavering personal autonomy. Crucially, Mkabayi deliberately chose to remain unmarried, turning away suitors to prevent her considerable influence from being subsumed by a husband's lineage. She transformed herself from a familiar royal into an independent state functionary. Her authority was institutionalized as the head of the Ibe Kulusini military corps, granting her direct control over military regiments. So profound was the respect for her power that the Zulu nation honored her with male titles. She was referred to as Baba, meaning father, and immortalized in her praise poem as Usokolai, the father of Guile. Mkabayi stepped down when Senzangakona came of age, but her influence never waned. When Senzangakona died in 1816, the kingdom faced another crisis. Mkabayi turned her support away from the official heir, Segujona, and backed an exiled, illegitimate son, Shaka. Mkabayi, who maintained a close relationship with Shaka's mother, Nondi, saw the exiled prince's military genius as the necessary force to unite the Nguni clans during the violent era of the Mkabayi. Her political maneuvering paved the way for Shaka's ascension, which quickly led to unprecedented territorial expansion and the consolidation of the formidable Zulu Kingdom. But Mkabayi's loyalty was to the crown, not the wearer. By 1828, Shaka's military success had devolved into tyranny. Following his mother Nondi's death, his erratic behavior and arbitrary violence plunged the kingdom into chaos. Mkabayi watched as the leader she installed threatened to destroy the very state she had built. Accusing Shaka of abusing power, Mkabayi organized her final, most famous plot, the regicide. She conspired with Shaka's half-brothers, Dingen and Mangana, to assassinate the emperor on September 24, 1828, at Kwadukuza. The Great Purge and the enduring legacy. The Kingmaker's job was not finished with Shaka's death. The co-conspirators immediately turned on each other. Mlangana, who was considered a likely successor, was a clear threat to Mkabayi's preferred candidate, Dingen. Mkabayi swiftly intervened in the consultative process, proclaiming a powerful new constitutional principle alongside Shaka's sister Namkoba: a man may not rule with a red assegai, one which has stabbed the king. Dingen was declared king because he was only deemed to have laid hold of Shaka, while Mangana, who had struck a fatal blow, was executed by Mkabayi's order. This final act of calculated political violence ensured Dingen's stability and cemented Mkabayi's absolute control over the succession process. Mkabayi remained a powerful broker, the ultimate authority whom everyone had to consult. Bizoni Mkabayi, consult Mkabayi for any solution. She survived every king she had installed and dispatched. However, the political dynasty she so carefully managed eventually cast her out. When Dingen was defeated by his half-brother Mpand in 1840, the new king exiled Mkabayi to Natal. She died between 1840 and 1843. The historical verdict remains conflicted. Some accounts claim she died in exile, bitterly regretful for the murders of her nephews. Yet, her Izebongo, her praise poem, celebrates her strategic cunning, suggesting she remained convinced of the necessity of her deeds to the end. Mkabayi kaJama was not a hero in the traditional sense, but a complex figure whose actions were driven by a singular, unwavering purpose: the survival of the Zulu state. She challenged the limitations of her gender, used political murder as a tool of stability, and shaped the destiny of a nation more profoundly than the kings who wore the crown. The woman who was born a curse became, ultimately, the indispensable architect of the Zulu Empire. Thanks for watching till the end. Kindly subscribe, like, comment and on the notification button for more Africa history unveiling.
Welcome to Africa Unveiled. And you know?